I'm never quite sure with AI if it's going to be better for me or make my life harder.
Massive shift that's going to happen where people are looking at marketing, whether they're looking at their SMSs, their WhatsApp, their website. That's changing.
In a good way.
Mercy of the algorithm. They know they've got to post 4 times a week. They know they've got to do their stories. Then they sit down, they're like, what do I post? We've got tools that will help you plan all of that. It'll give you ideas for that.
Booking systems now, we've not had price lists printed for Lord knows how long. There have been several points of me kind of going, we need to put the price. And then I'd look and realise there's another 1,000 price lists in the book. I'm like, maybe, but I'm just going to throw them away.
All right on them, the amount of times you'd go into them, but
crossed out, extra tenner.
That's what you could have got. Yeah.
Hi, welcome to the Noble Barber podcast. I'm Anthony Laban, and we'll be talking to various people in the industry who've made it and their journey and how they got here. Talking honest, cutting through the crap, and making sure your story and their story is heard to help your business and hopefully mine. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button, and I hope you enjoy this episode.
Hi there. Welcome to the Noble Barber podcast. I'm Anthony Laban, and welcome to part 2, the business and the tech side of online booking. I'm still here with Jason Downs from Vagaro and Ben Fisher from Beu or Beu, depending on which half of the country you're in. We spoke a little bit about, actually, thanks for the first half. I really enjoyed that. Thank you very much. But we kind of, AI kept popping up, and I feel we could drill down a bit more on AI, and obviously how it's playing at the moment, but equally the future. Obviously, both of your products, both companies have these.
So if I probably
AI
start at the
products.
nice, easy bit about the good stuff of it, yeah. And I think especially for barbers, because ultimately the AI can't create the customer intimacy. AI can't do the wonderful styles. AI can't do the troubleshooting, the counselling. AI can't do anything. So the barber's actually in a really good place. The good thing is AI will enable, I say, the stuff that they don't really want to do. So it'll help the marketing a lot easier.
Yeah.
It will help the reporting a lot easier. I call it almost like it's your AI buddy. So you're going to have your own personalised assistant, your own personalised buddy who can help your barbershop. So I think on the plus side, this sector, and I think the beauty industry as a whole, is really well placed because it's an enabler and a supporter, not a threat, compared to some industries. But that's at the highest level. I think, Ben, when we were talking, as you go down the flow of AI, there's some bigger challenges probably to worry about.
Yeah, for sure. So that's one of the key things that I would take away from this. Like, out of every industry, I would say this is probably the least threatened for the people that work in it. So already things like accounting, legal, tech, development, all these jobs are already getting replaced, and generally it's the lower level jobs are getting replaced. But that will creep up the ladder as time goes on. Thankfully for barbers, doing anything with your hands is really tricky. So you can't train a robot to be doing that, probably not in the next 20, 30 years.
I guess the other side of it is the barbers kind of go, it's got nothing to do with me. That's not my industry. The AI is going to have, it can't cut hair. What's it going to do? But actually, when you start looking at the applications of what it can do, it does it kind of annoyingly, it should and can do it better than we can.
Yeah, and
I mean, we spoke initially about the kind of AI receptionist, which I thought was the kind of future point of AI, which I'm reliably told it's the past. You've already got that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So how does your receptionist
literally,
AI work?
You could phone in and you could literally get booked in or rearrange your appointment straight away.
And are you speaking to a voice?
Yeah, you're speaking to a voice. Yes, you're just connected through it. So either phone or chat, whichever way you may have come. The other thing to note is the driving and chat. People are the reduction in phone calls is getting more and more dramatic. So the more your chat enabling AI is what's going to really help the industry more than voice.
I think the other side to that as well, it's not just about booking, it's also about consultation. So with ours, like with the chatbot as well, it's not just, hey, look, can I have a booking for this? They may want consultation on the different types of services, what the difference are. The AI is trained on the back of house data, really, that the barber runs on. So say, for example, if they saw a picture on their Instagram or whatever and said, hey, look, I like this, what service would this be? Again, in hair, it can be a bit more where you've got more intricate colors and things like that. But you can tell them how to do it. It would recommend which appointment it'll be, and it would also link them with the staff as well, based on their bias.
And better, presumably, because if you're phoning AI, it's going to know who you are. it's going to recognise the phone number from the system,
and it doesn't forget
so it
stuff.
knows it knows who
and
you
it
are.
doesn't have a hangover on a Monday and is in a bad mood or whatever. You know, it's just
so it is going to have a big part in our
Absolutely,
industry, whether whether we embrace or don't embrace.
But I always think when people talk about receptionists, I'm thinking, well, yeah, you've got a big salon, big barber shop. Your receptionist often actually is much more than that. They are your front of house experience. So obviously that's not being replaced. It's the other stage before, which is, your bookings, your consultation. But again, I think don't underestimate how much intimacy and relationships that you want technology as your partner, but you still need to have that at the forefront.
And if you're, if you are talking receptionist face on, they're left giving you your service rather than stopping every 2 minutes to answer the phone.
Absolutely.
And go from that. But AI will be better, presumably, even at recommending other things that my rebooking obsession from the first half and client retention. We should see AI.
Yeah, and you will be able to get to prompts. You can go through your data to say, look, tell me when I'm quiet. When should I run special promotions? What should I do here? So it will intelligently mine your data. And this is what Ben's bang on. It's about your data, as in your barbershop, not about the whole universe of data. And that's when it gets really powerful because it homes in on you. And I think
both your systems will allow you to be prompted by AI to look through your system, so you can go to your systems with, this is my problem, I want some new clients, I don't know where my clients are coming from or whatever, and it will scale your own data.
And we're literally just going through that testing to make sure what you want is make sure those recommendations are absolutely correct. So it's those nuances and this is why you find when good tech companies launch stuff, not all of them, but when good ones do it, like Vagaro is, you do it properly. Which is why we could launch things now to do a lot of that, but we're just wanting to make sure we got absolutely everything right, so it absolutely is your business partner.
Because I think that's it. Like I say, it's a good phrase, mate. Business partner. I think that's interesting. The fact is that we're all getting used to this kind of amount of data that we've got. To have AI go looking for it. I mean, I've been writing columns for magazines and different bits for years and years. I feel like ChatGPT does an awful lot for me now. And it really does. It really does. And the more it's got to know me and my style and how I like to write, and I've got a bigger reservoir of what I want to use, it really works. And that's exactly what you're saying about our data, that it's going to just drill through and have a look at what we're doing. And
I would think for some barbers who are scared of it, just even as simple as, instead of where you would normally Google something, just ChatGPT it. It would just help you get into that rhythm, and maybe some of that fear stuff. The fear is the unknown. And you think, oh, that's pretty cool. And once you start doing some of those things, it may well help you.
Yeah, I think the big thing is people are scared about control. So if you speak to most barbers, they're not going to say, I want to be spending more time doing, like, creating social posts, more time writing the content for it, finding what images it is, deciding what kind of social posts I want to do, or answering the phone, sending WhatsApps at 11:30 at night, trying to get people rebooking. They don't want to do that. They want to be, in the shop when they want to be in the shop, or out and about when they want to be about, just cutting hair and speaking to their clients and, fostering the relationships. So AI picks up all of the part that's not really hands-on time with the client, and it just lets them focus on what they need to do to run the business.
A lot of people just say it's the dull bit.
Yeah,
but it's really important bit.
We try to make it sexy, but it is the dull bit.
But that's exactly it. I've been owning stores and self-employed for my whole career, and you're never off. You're never off. I'd still, I now make it a firm rule that my phone's in the kitchen when I get in, because otherwise I never get through anything without checking. The fact that AI will be running all of this quietly for you without your interaction. I think it's an absolute.
But you also still need to do the upfront work.
Yeah,
because if you just do an example of, let's run 3 social posts, but if you it will just be very bland and generic. But if you actually do what you're doing, which is teaching AI about you share with AI your values, you share your goals, you share your personality, your humor. Before you know it, it will then be a true partner. But that's why I say to all barbers out there, just put your toe. If you're not already, put your toe in there now. Because it's going to impact us all hugely.
Yeah, I guess certainly with, I guess most of our interaction with AI is is from Google, I guess. As soon as you start, whereas it used to be sponsored boxes up first, now you've got your AI response first of all.
Don't worry, the sponsorship will find a way to win in that one. Don't you worry. There's no doubt about that. The money will follow.
It will follow. Yeah. But it does make you think that the algorithms are changing. That whereas there was quite a good way as a barber, you could find a way of making sure. But now you're having to rely on AI finding you.
Yeah, for sure.
Any tips from techs as to how the algorithm's really running now, and
I think a lot of it is still it's actually the same basic principles. You want to be top of mind, and you're top of mind by doing things regularly. So regularly posting, regularly doing some blogs, regularly making sure you're getting reviews, because all it's doing is driving off content. So if you're not doing things regularly, there may be somebody 2 doors down who is. So it's the same principles in my.
For me, I think
you have AI skeptic written on you.
No,
don't you?
It's not. To be fair, it's not about that at all. So I think there's 2 things that happen here. One is attracting new clients, finding new clients, getting them through the door. Once you have those clients, you're not really reliant on your marketing so much as it is about just nurturing the relationship. So if you speak to most clients, they're booking their barber because they like the haircut they're getting, whatnot, but they also like the guy or girl that's cutting their hair. And often we found from doing some research, a lot of the time when people move about, it's not necessarily because they haven't been marketed to, it's because they've lost the touch point. So that's one of the points that we want to focus on with AI. So say for example, some people are quite particular, and some barbers are quite particular. They're worried about, if I go to online bookings, I can't WhatsApp. You mentioned this before, and that's fine. Let the AI do the WhatsApp messaging if that's the booking part of it.
Yeah,
you can still jump in and have a chat with them, but they're not going to give you a tip based on how efficiently you book them.
No.
So, but if they send a WhatsApp at 11:30 at night and you're already asleep, if the AI can just pick it up and book them in the morning, that's job done. So it's all this kind of stuff around the business, around being with a client that we want to just not take away, but just free you from, really, I guess is what it is. So you can just do what you want to do.
I guess you're right. It is the boring stuff. You're absolutely bang on. It is all the boring stuff that we know you need to do. And I'm intrigued with young barbers, so guys who are just setting up, that presumably that's much more in their mind.
Absolutely.
That's one
There's
of the
a big generation shift in terms of who's using the technology and to what level they're using it, and also how they're using it, especially around the marketing side of it. And they're just so quick at it as well. But it's interesting when you talk about how I've got my barber, I'm loyal to my barber, but actually sometimes if you're on a 3-week, 4-week cycle, your barber's not there. And actually just even going back to some of the basic principles of what's already in the booking system is you can put photos in so you can see what they look like. You can put some notes in to make sure you know what it is. And I've done this umpteen times when somebody would say, oh, I want to go with Dan now because I want to have a chat with Dan about his business. But actually, I want to make sure he knows what my haircut is from Luca. So Luca would actually have in the notes very clearly exactly what it was. And that, again, is just using the technology, today's technology, to make sure you block in your customer in, so there's no doubt about that person moving away from your shop, because there's lots of them.
No, it really
and
is.
AI is not going to make it smaller. AI is not going to make less barbers.
But I do like the fact that I think that AI will learn your business
if you teach it.
If you teach it, and I love that the systems now will look through our own data. And I think that's this thing that I keep coming back to, that before you have a business coach come in and start going through your businesses, that you've at least gone through this aspect of it first of all.
But the other thing is with technology, especially with now the AI shift, what I class as the established legacy software platforms, which actually were 15 years ago, first mover advantage, were absolutely the right decision to go with. But they just haven't had the investment from a development cycle as some of the new emerging businesses like Vagaro, like Beu, where actually that AI is going to be at the forefront of that journey. And I would urge everybody to look at what I class as your legacy system. Be careful. It might be okay today, but it's what you're missing out on in 6 months, 12 months times. I'd worry for you. So I would urge people to just think about when they're making that choice, is it future proofing? Because technology is changing so quick, and there's only a few of us out there who will better keep up. I mean, we're lucky at Vagaro. We got 450 developers, and a CEO who built the product. and is a developer at heart, and that you're just always getting pushed to be at the forefront of tech. But some others have a change in ownership models now. They're owned by, in essence, PE firms with money, and they've lost that tech edge.
Yeah, I think that's the big factor that, I was chatting to someone 2 weeks ago who was just telling me that my website isn't AI proofed.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
And I said I've been using booking systems for 40 years. But I'm like, oh, actually, no, you're right. AI, the way it was written, in a different age. I mean, it's only about 3 or 4 years
and it's
old.
probably great 3 or 4 years ago.
But it's not. It's not. It's got everything's got to be rewritten so that AI are going to find it. And we are found. Every barbershop out there, we are all found by Google. We are all searched on phones.
Absolutely. Yeah. But that's interesting about you to talk about, again, websites, and Vagaro has its my site, which is great because ultimately what everybody hates is bad data. So normally on a website and your booking platform, you've got to key in the hours, the prices, the employees, and you're doing it twice.
Yeah.
But with the way it's integrates, which is just clever tech, so ultimately you change it in Vagaro and instantly your website is always auto updated, which again is another thing about price increases. People hate doing price increases because it's almost like I've got to do it here, I've got to do it there. Yeah. Whilst actually by using best in class technology partners, it does the work for you.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting you're saying about with booking systems now we've not had price lists printed for Lord knows how long, and I would definitely think there have been several points of me kind of going, we need to put the price, and then I'd look and realise there's another 1,000 price lists in the book. And I'm like, maybe, but I'm just going to throw them away. And so I do think that tech,
or write on them the amount of times you'd go into them, but you
crossed out extra tenner.
That's what you could have got. Yeah.
Sorry to interrupt, but I want to talk to you about something really important. Our podcast here is more than just about the industry, the barbershop, and the life therein. It's about the community that we built. And in the time we've been doing this podcast, the community has been amazing and we've loved it. Now we're looking for you to get involved and become an essential part of our future. We're seeking long-term, mutually beneficial opportunities for partnership to come on board and help spread our message, to connect with our community, to help grow it, to keep the message strong, and to keep hearing and discussing these amazing topics that we do with all our guests. If you think your brand is the right brand for us, if you want to get in touch, please email me at thenoblebarberpodcast@gmail.com or DM me on Instagram. It'd be really good to talk to you. We'd love you to be part of our future. Okay, and now back to the episode.
And I still come back, I'm not going to get too laboured on it, but that we do seem to be very terrified of those changes. And being terrified of it is not going to do you any favours. You've just got to embrace, really.
Now more than ever, because actually I think Ben's talked, it's the big changes about to happen.
Yeah, it's a big shift, big shift. So where we, fundamentally, we've been technology focused first. So everything we did, we built not with what do we want to build now, but how can we make the technology future proof. So when we built for self-employed, we did all the self-employed, all the payment stuff, all the data segregation, all of that stuff first. Made it really easy to build the stuff on top, where more legacy systems, they'll look at that and say, actually, how do you do that? How do you differentiate between the self-employed? How do you sort the payments? How does that go to their account? And we've done the same with AI as well. So rather than quietly roll out the AI, we've been building a AI infrastructure in our back end. It's not just for you as well. We've got our own AI developers that are actually working on the tech too, that we train on all of the staff. Right. So it's like a AI through and through company almost now. But yeah, it's definitely a massive shift that's going to happen where people are looking at marketing, where they're looking at their SMSs, their WhatsApp, their website. That's changing.
In a good way. I'm never quite sure with AI if it's going to be better for me or make my life harder.
Yeah, I think
because we certainly do now. We've got we have all our social media, we've got our WhatsApp, we've got the SMSs, we've got our e-newsletter that still goes out. So you end up with all these different arms to have something that's actually going to start gluing that together.
So for this industry, I would go, this is really good. AI is really good for the barber industry.
Yeah, that's the thing. What we do,
other industries maybe a bit harsher.
We're leveraging AI. So most companies in our sector will build our own bits, our own GPTs internally, but we'll be leveraging AI generally. So for our industry, I think it's great. I think it's going to make everybody more efficient. It's going to increase their fill time. even silly things like, everyone's at the mercy of the algorithm. They know they've got to post 4 times a week. They know they've got to do their stories. Then they sit down, they're like, what do I post?
Yeah.
So we got tools that will help you plan all of that. It'll give you ideas for that. It'll look at the stuff that you're doing as well, and it'll feed all of that into it as well. So it's on brand. It's not just random. So yeah, I think adopting AI in the industry, the earlier you adopt it, you're going to get a first mover advantage as a barber. And I think the big thing that's great for you, you don't have to be worried about adopting it because it can't take your income source. So you're adopting it as something that's tangential to your income line. So it's not going to replace you at any point. It's just going to make you more efficient and allow you to spend more time doing what you love.
I guess that's it. The amount of magazines, newspapers that have suddenly got rid of, the amount of ad agencies who have ditched their copywriters.
Yep.
I mean, I read the most heartbreaking story of a group who'd been brought in, who'd written all this copy and then discovered that actually all they were being hired for was to fill the AI with the right wording, the right sentencing, and then another layer. We're not going to be replaced.
But what it will do, I mean, I used to, I'm a marketeer at heart, and so I used to pride myself in being able to write good, compelling emails. And then the other day, I just ran it through the AI, and I thought, it's better.
Yeah.
I still have to teach it what to do, but wow, the output was so much better. Which is where you've almost got to say, okay, have the confidence to try it and get in there, and then just see what it can do for you. But this industry, I think it's going to really help.
I think that's what we found, though. Our industry is, as you said in the first half, it's a really different industry. We do have a real care, a real point of interest. I think Sid Sotung in a previous episode just kind of went, look, Sainsbury's put their prices up every goddamn month and they don't care, and that's that. But we do care. We do worry what people are paying. We are worrying what we're doing. But equally, for UK listeners, we've got the budget looming in November. There's a genuine fear factor, and we are still labouring under the last budget. We are still carrying a lot of COVID debt and so on. That it's not easy. And then on top of that, you have so many barbershops opening up that are on your doorstep. That it's a difficult industry, but we're all surviving, and we're surviving well. The fact that AI can, the system we use has not offered me this. And the thought of actually asking AI to run through my data and start sending getting me to send myself reports, I think that's so exciting.
Yeah, I think it will force people to look at their business in a better way. Because it will, one of the things is I'm too busy. So suddenly, if you take that excuse out, because it's going to speed everything up, I think it's going to really help people. And I always say, this industry, I think it's incredible, the passion, the skill, the creativeness. But there's a lot of people who are working very hard and not making enough money as they deserve. And I really hope by using technology, we can help businesses actually make a bit more money for what they deserve, their hard work deserves. Yeah. And it will mean making some tougher calls and more intelligent calls.
But that's the bit, I think, it is looking at your businesses.
Yeah.
And with the amount of data, it's now so much farther along than track and trace, just a name and a number. And like I said, I still really enjoy the fact that I know who's coming in now. There are guys that I hadn't known, I had no idea about their names, and now you can get ready for them, and you hear the guys kind of going, actually, add me another 10 minutes in there. He's got so much hair, or he's a great character. It takes me 15 minutes to get him to sit down and shut up.
You can write some notes,
so we're still keeping that intimacy and personal.
But it's now, how nice would it be just to wish them happy birthday, because you've captured when their birthday is? You know, your mate, you'd like that. But what are the chances of them coming for a haircut on the actual birthday? Very few.
Yeah.
We've got this lovely thing on waitlist that you can actually decide, rather than you can be first come, first serve on the waitlist, or actually you could who's the most expensive, valuable service, and you can prioritize that way. So again, you can just use the tech to help you get a little bit more money, and you can focus on that. In the US, it's much more ambitious. They talk about, I want to be a 6-figure barber on my own. Yeah. I want to have multi-chains. I want to do this. And
I think a lot do. I mean, I still speak to a lot of young guys. A lot of the guys that are opening up now are all kind of with this impression that they want to have an academy. They want to do this. They want to do that. So the ambition's there. And now with the data, presumably that's only gonna help. I mean, just for a bit of gossip, what bits do you think are your systems that aren't really used? If you two were running a barbershop, what bit of system do you know that your customers don't use because you can see it, that you would prioritize above and beyond?
Just setting up the automated marketing stuff. The amount of people that just don't set it up and they just do it for online bookings, and it's only once they, we'll drop a message say, hey, look, you can automate all of this. It's really clear. Oh yeah, I know, but I haven't done it yet. Don't worry about it. And then we'll drop another hint or message, and then they'll come back to us after, like, yeah. So I put on all the automated marketing, made my life so much easier, because like things like no shows as well, no show protection. That's another massive one. Mm-hmm. So we got a feature where when they book in, it will capture all their details. If they don't show up for the appointment, you can charge them. So it's like a one click to turn it on, and you're going to get that revenue. And it also takes away a lot of people who were doing deposits. We can do deposits too, but there's no need. You have a big barrier with deposits. You're worried. People are like, I don't want to put half the money down now and then half later. So with no show protection, you just click it. When they make their appointment, they confirm their appointment, and then it all ties into the cancellation and the no show policy. If they don't turn up, you can just charge them. So that's a big one, because that's a massive.
It's that setting up, isn't it? And that's why we spend a lot of time with new customers to say, look, we know it's a change, either brand new to software or you're coming from a legacy software. And that's why we put a customer success manager with them for 90 days to help them with all this. Because once you've done your first one, which is, almost that, you haven't been in for 4 weeks and I know you're on a 4-week cycle email, or my happy birthday, the really easy ones, you can then work out how to do some more sophisticated ones. But I think it's just getting them really set up for success, which is why we partner with a customer success manager for 90 days. And then after that, to be honest, they run it how they want to run it. Yeah. And that's fine. It's your business. You should do it how you want to do it. Yeah.
That's a really good point, actually. I think we're quite similar in the way that we handle that. So when we onboard customers, we set up a WhatsApp group. One of the big reasons for us is we can help them onboard their all the features that they want to turn on and how to run it. But for us, we get really valuable data back, because we can have conversations with them whenever we want, and we find out what features they want us to build. So, and that's the way that from day one, we've always been, tell us what you want, we'll build it. And it makes it easier for us to go to and then market, rather than us trying to build and then sell it. So.
And do you get have you had some random ones?
Oh yeah.
That you're kind of like, no, that's not even vaguely possible, or have some of the really good ideas that you've got as part of your system genuinely come from a barber sitting there going, mate, this is my problem?
We had one for barbers. It was like real random. It was like, if you say, no, this software is not for me, because originally it was a hair salon software, and then they're like, I don't like the color, so we just changed it to dark mode, and instantly,
really,
the positivity and the sentiment changed almost overnight. Just from something as simple as it's now dark mode. The default for barbers is dark mode.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
And everywhere you go in barbers, everyone's wearing black, aren't they?
Yeah.
We had a very similar one with the colours as well. That was a big one, because we obviously started in hair too, and then went into barbering. And the big no was the colour, and it was on their side. It wasn't the customer side. They were fine with that because it's all customizable. It was what they see on their side in the shop. They were like, the colour doesn't match our brand. And like we never considered that would be a point that people would care about that much, because it's just a tool you're running. It was fairly neutral anyway, but they wanted more dark colors, so charcoal grays and cyans.
And from your existing client, what would you say is your most regular bit of feedback? Obviously you're only going to say it's positive feedback, but what would be the genuinely positive thing that your customers come back to you with?
I guess where I get pride is in the team, the sentiment of the team, in terms of how supportive, they really do know the software. So the expert advice comes through, and we call it 5-star service, 5-star support. So we pride ourselves on that side of it. But the big one that goes back to the automation point, they always come back to is, wow, I wish I did it earlier. I can't believe how much time I've saved.
Yeah.
And then you get a few others at the moment who are going, cool, at least I know what my bill is now. Yeah. So, but yeah, there's probably the top ones of mine at the moment.
Yeah, the big one for us is pain points. So we're like, it's kind of focused about solving pain points. So like I said, we went all in on the fact that the market was going towards a self-employed model. So we built all of the stuff around that, and we had to build everything else after. So when we started, we were like great on payments, really advanced on all that kind of stuff, the payment splitting, the data management, the KYC, the segregated data for self-employed, but we didn't have feature parity in the early days. So we knew that we couldn't compete like for like with $100 million companies or $1 billion companies from day one. So it was very much a case of we would have very frequent conversations with our partners to find out what it is that they wanted, not just what have they experienced in other software, but what, like blue sky thinking, what would make your business better. And that was like a real core part to our growth strategy, because it helped us avoid falling into the pits of building what we thought barbers and hairdressers wanted, which most of the time was wrong, seeing as I've never.
Well, it's so hard to get. I mean, it's taken me a long time to be really excited when someone complains. Do you know what I mean? It really has. No, genuinely, I'm all ego. I want people to tell me I'm brilliant.
Anthony, you're brilliant. Don't worry. Yeah,
thank you.
This podcast is superb. Yeah.
No, but I do. And then I started. I then started really listening to kind of complaints, and we don't get a lot. I mean, my team are amazing. They really are, and we don't get a lot, and we've got fabulous 5-star reviews across everywhere and all that kind of stuff. But when you do get a complaint, they're so rare, you kind of go, oh, I used to kind of dismiss them.
Yeah.
But actually, they tend to carry much more weight and much more. And so I really have re-taught myself that if someone comes to me and tells me off about something, that generally those are the ones that make really big fundamental changes to us. And I love that. But it has taken me a very long time. Presumably, if you future-proofed yours, this isn't something you get when you're standing there. This is my next bit, that you two are both absolutely all in industry events, and not just big pretty stands and a load of casual workers in there. You guys are there yourselves, and you've stood there, and I've done those events, standing around for 3 or 4 days, manning it. It's exhausting stuff, but you're there. That interaction has got to be mind blowing for you guys, isn't it?
You get it through the whole spectrum. You get your customers who are saying, "Oh, why can't it do this, or why doesn't it do that?" And you think, "Oh, of course we can do that. Let me just show you." But clearly we've missed a trick in explaining that.
Yeah.
So we're constantly then going back when you're onboarding, make sure you're being really diligent at explaining the benefit and the user case. Then you get from competitors, you really get an understanding the pain points, why they're coming over, because they're not coming over for a chat. There's a lot more other stuff they can be doing. They're generally there because they've got some pain. So you get to understand that. And then you get some wacky ideas, which is cool. And you think, oh, okay, that's cool.
Excellent.
Yeah, I think like I think it was off camera I said this, but we did our first event pre-product. So
incredible.
We had nothing. Didn't have any money for it either. So I spent all my money booking out a little stand, and then had nothing I could actually put on the back wall or anything. So I ended up printing out A4 paper with some like early logo and early name ideas for the company. And everyone was coming over like, what are you doing here? And like for me, it was like the validation on the ideas. So I wanted to speak to as many people as possible, find out what their pain points were, why that's their pain point, and why they're not being served or serviced properly by existing software. Because I thought there was something there, but I didn't know exactly what it was. And we got such valuable feedback on that. We've adopted that into like all of our product road mapping. It fundamentally comes down to our customers and our customers, our existing partners, and also future partners. Where we can meet them and find out what it is that they needed. So that's been like intrinsic for us. It's not just a sales side to it that we do. It's all about building the product, and also kind of starting those relationships about providing a solution, as opposed to like here's our software, here's our price, pay it, and that's the end of it. That's not the kind of company that we've turned into, purely because it's benefited us speaking to the barbers firsthand, finding out what the pain points are. So
I think it's also an industry that wants you to be present, and they want you to be seen that you are supporting and you're not going away. And I always think the first one we went there, I'm thinking this is strange. Even the industry doesn't know who we are yet, So we've got work to do just to get that validation and trust. Now we've clearly got that. People are coming over to us very positively now. But it is an industry that I think you've almost got to give if you want something back.
Yeah. I mean, we this Salon International's next weekend. I think this is probably going to go out afterwards. Anything that you're expecting differently this time? Obviously, yours is now a very slick operation at these events. You guys have, I saw you beautifully at HairCon Your stands are really huge. Presumably, your presence at this is going to be
we've got a big presence, but at Sal International, we're also at PB Autumn as well next door. So there'll be lots of the Vagaro team for people to come and see, share some ideas. And I always say, look, it's a software. The only thing we're a software company need to do is demo it, because you've got to see it through your eyes to see how it worked for your barbershop.
Yeah.
That's the big thing. Just get demos, go around, have a look at all of them, and see what they do differently. Because ultimately, that you don't see it, or you can't really imagine it until you see it and use it. So,
and before we end, most of your guys are most of your customers running your systems on phones, on iPads, on Macs? What's the general operation from your phone?
Depends on size, typically.
Everything, yeah.
If you're a single business, often you're just running it all for 100% through the phone, and that's absolutely fine. If you're a more mature business, you've probably got all of those above. You've got iPads, you've got phones, you've got Apple and Android, you've got everything. Yeah,
but system-wise, it'll run on.
It's up in the
anything.
sky.
Exactly.
I thought I'd simplify with a nice. I'd finish with a very nice, simple, easy to answer question.
Yeah.
Guys, thank you very much for your time. Really appreciate it. I hope we've answered, covered, or the past, the present, and even tapped into the future. And we don't do that half-heartedly. You've been listening to the Noble Barber podcast. I've been Anthony Laban. Thanks very much.
Welcome to the Noble Barber podcast. We're always looking for interesting people and interesting stories. If you know someone, or you are someone with a great story that you want to share, get in touch and come and join me on the sofa. Thanks very much for listening. I hope you've enjoyed the episode, and we'll see you next time.